Good afternoon, I'm India Yarborough.
And I'm Leah Banks. A brutal attack in Tarrytown continues to get worse. Details on the latest developments coming up, plus lawmakers in one state taking action to end diseases that are caused by ant vaccination movements. We'll have the latest on their proposal.
And a flood advisory issued for New Orleans. We'll tell you what the city is doing to avoid disaster, and we'll have a first look at your forecast. We've got those stories and more next on PAC News. Stay with us. A 14-year-old has died after a brutal attack last week in Tarrytown. Nashana Riley died in the hospital after she was beat with a hammer by a man using crack cocaine.
Kellie Sanchez is live from Tarrytown, where a community is grieving in the wake of the attack.
Am I on?
Kellie, what's the latest on the attacks?
Hey guys, so right now the family has confirmed that one other child has died in connection to the brutal attack that happened last week, which killed a mother and now 3 children. JPSO says that Terrence Leonard confessed to the murder, and investigators say that Leonard used a hammer to beat the children and the mom in their sleep. And he also told detectives that at the time he was on crack cocaine. So two children died at the scene, and another child is still in the hospital at this time. The woman murdered is Christina Riley. She was the mother of 3 of the children, and the aunt of another child. And investigators say that she was in a relationship with Leonard. Leonard now faces 3 counts of first-degree murder, but JPSO has not released an update on the charges after the 4th child has died. And we just spoke to neighbors who say that the whole neighborhood is still grieving the loss of the children and the mom. And as you can see behind me, there is a memorial set up, and people have been coming by to pay their respects and to even lend a helping hand in the form of money to the family. We just spoke to a man who just recently gave money to one of the family members. And also there is a memorial benefit set up at Hancock Whitney Banks at any one of those in the city. From the West Bank, I'm Kellie Sanchez for PAC News. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Kellie.
New charges today involving 2 actors charged in a widespread federal cheating scandal involving several high-profile schools. Brandon is looking into this case. What's the latest?
Right now, we don't know if Loyola is impacted, but we have calls into university officials. Actresses Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman are just 2 of the 50 people that face charges. Huffman is accused of arranging for someone to change her daughter's SAT scores. Loughlin and her husband agreed to pay a $500,000 bribe to have their daughters designated as members of the rowing team, even though they didn't participate in the sport. Prosecutors say coaches at several Division I institutions were bribed by parents to indicate students were being considered as athletic recruits. In some cases, a student's parents would take the entrance exam for them. Prosecutors say schools apply different standards to students with athletic abilities. The people that are charged in the cases are accused of bribing admissions consultants for a total of $25 million.
So, Brandon, does this have anything to do with the college basketball corruption scandal that Will Wade was involved in recently?
Right now, we don't have any additional details, and prosecutors are saying that they don't have anything for now.
All right, well, severe thunderstorms are threatening flooding in states on the Gulf Coast.
Tyler Wann joins us with the latest.
Leah, India, river levels are expected to rise this week, and many communities have their eyes on potential flooding. A significant storm system is moving across the southern plains tonight, and we'll have more on how this impacts our forecast later in the newscast.
To keep the Mississippi River from flooding, the Mississippi River Commission has opted to open Louisiana's Bonnet Carré Spillway for the 2nd year in a row. This is the first time in history that the spillway has been opened in back-to-back years. Director of Loyola Center for Environmental Communications, Dr. Bob Thomas, joined us earlier today to talk about the spillway's impact. Well, I am here with Dr. Bob Thomas, Director of Loyola Center for Environmental Communications. Thank you for being with us, Dr. Bob.
Good.
So this is the 13th year, or the 13th time, excuse me, that the spillway has been opened. Can you explain, how extensive flooding in the area would be if the spillway weren't in place?
Well, the purpose of the Decareaux spillway is it's part of a massive flood protection design system in the lower Mississippi. And it's been, as you said, it's been open 13 times. This is the 13th time. And the function is to shunt off water when the water keeps rising in New Orleans to keep the levees from being overtopped here. The function is to shunt 250,000 cubic feet per second of water into Lake Pontchartrain. And that has been very effective. Before this system was built, back in the 1920s and very early 30s, periodically the river would flood, and you could literally get in a pirogue in Lafayette, Louisiana, and paddle all the way to Mississippi. So it completely flooded everything where we live today. And that doesn't work well with a growing city, a growing economy, people wanting to maintain their businesses and things like that. So it's been very effective.
And what do you see as the greatest environmental impact of opening that spillway and having the water run through?
Well, it has some immediate impacts and some long-term impacts. The immediate impacts are that fishers have to go further to catch their fish and shrimp and things like that because the fresh water pushes the salt water out. The other immediate is that there's a lot of nutrients coming into the lake that spawn reproduction in algae. So you get big algal blooms that sometimes stink a lot and disfigure the surface of the water and that sort of thing. But long term, what happens is you're fertilizing the lake. So in about 3 years, there'll be a bountiful catch in the commercial fisheries. So the fishermen will be better off in the long term because of the nutrients that have come into the lake. But there is a pause there for the people that are making their living there.
Okay, well, good to know. And how does opening the spillway now affect kind of neighboring communities around in that area of Louisiana?
Well, it doesn't really have any impact because it's within guide levees, so it's all staying in that pathway. It's like another piece of the river, a distributary of the river. But what happens is everybody's pretty excited about it. So a lot of people go down there and sit in their folding chairs and just watch the spectacle. They bring picnics and things like that. It actually is a very festive occasion. But as long as those guide levees are working, as long as it's keeping the flooding down in the lower Mississippi, everything is very good.
Perfect. Well, that about wraps us up. So thank you so much for joining us today. Again, I'm here with Dr. Bob Thomas, and he was just telling us a little bit about the spillway's impact. So thank you for joining us.
The Federal Aviation Administration is now responding to growing concerns over Boeing 737 MAX 8. A crash in Ethiopia killed 157 people on board. The same type of jet crashed last year, killing 189 people. Kim Hutchison reports.
We wanted to go and enjoy the animals and so forth. So with the March break, this was a perfect opportunity for them to show them. So.
Tragedy in the skies sparks a dire warning from aviation experts.
I've never said that, hey, it's unsafe to fly a particular model of aircraft, but in this case, I'm going to have to go there. So yeah, I would watch for that airplane.
Multiple airlines around the world are grounding Boeing 737 MAX 8 planes, following a second crash in less than 6 months. Two major U.S. airlines, Southwest and American Airlines, fly the MAX 8 and say they will continue to do so for now, leaving some passengers uneasy.
People were nervous, reading on the paper and also on the internet.
The FAA says it's too early to tell whether the two crashes are linked. However, they're ordering Boeing improve the flight control systems on the MAX 8 and 9 by next month.
We already have the return flight booked, so if we could change it without any fee, I guess we would do it.
Passengers scheduled to fly on MAX 8s in the U.S. do not have many options. The airlines are making no adjustments to their change and cancellation policies. I'm Kim Hutchison reporting.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and other top Democrats say they will try to beat President Trump at the ballot box in 2020 instead of trying to impeach him. CNN's Joe Johns has the latest from Washington.
They wanted me to impeach President Bush for the Iraq War. I didn't believe in it then. I don't believe in it now.
The nation's most powerful Democrat, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, explaining why she does not currently support impeaching President Trump.
It divides the country unless there's some conclusive evidence that takes us to that place.
Earlier, Pelosi telling the Washington Post that Mr. Trump is just not worth the division impeachment would cause, even though she considers him ethically, intellectually, and curiosity-wise unfit for office. Pelosi has signaled her resistance to impeachment for many months.
It's not someplace that I think we should go.
Her position in stark contrast to some members of her party who have urgently called for Democrats to begin impeachment proceedings.
We have everything that it needs to basically impeach him.
We're going to go in there, we're going to impeach the motherfucker.
Among them, Congressman Brad Sherman, who introduced articles of impeachment against the president in January.
You don't impeach Trump for him. You impeach Trump for the Constitution.
Other Democrats echoing the speaker's message.
You cannot come off as carrying torches to the castle.
Putting the country through a failed impeachment is not a good idea.
Meanwhile, the White House refusing to tamp down an inflammatory claim made by the president last week after controversial comments from freshman Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar that have been criticized as anti-Semitic.
Democrats have become an anti-Israel party. They've become an anti-Jewish party.
Press Secretary Sarah Sanders deflecting.
Yes or no, does the president truly believe that Democrats hate Jews?
I am not going to comment on a potentially leaked document. I can tell you what I can tell you.
Does he think Democrats hate Jewish people?
That's a question, frankly, I think you should ask Democrats.
Sanders also declined to comment on questions regarding the scandals currently plaguing the Trump administration.
Lawmakers in New York are proposing a law that would allow minors to get vaccinated without their parents' permission. The proposal would allow any child that is older than 14 to get vaccinated and get boosters to prevent several conditions, including measles, whooping cough, the flu, and the mumps. If it's possible, the bill would make New York one of the 10 states that allow minors to get vaccinated without their parents' approval. The World Health Organization lists vaccine hesitancy as one of the world's most dangerous threats.
Coming up, community members meet about Zulu's blackface controversy.
Stay with us.
Because of you, I felt hopeless.
Because you said rude things about my work, I started to question my own voice.
I know it was a joke, but it still hurt me.
Because of your negative comments online, I've almost quit doing the one thing that makes me happiest in life.
Because you shared something about me that was private, I felt embarrassed.
Because you said hi to me on the first day of school, I felt included and I knew that I was going to be okay.
Because of you sharing your story with me, I feel comfortable sharing my own.
Because you were there when I was coming out, you helped me regain my confidence.
I'm still here today because of you.
Leaders from the Zulu Club, absent from a meeting last night about the problems of wearing blackface, were invited to meet with Take 'em Down NOLA for an open forum to discuss the problems about the tradition. But only one member of the club showed up.
The photo at the top is a minstrel show. The second photo below it, the third photo below it, and the fourth are all Zulu. The last two photos are Zulu this year, and they're both white men.
Members of Take 'em Down NOLA met with a member of the Zulu Club in an open forum to discuss the problematic impacts of wearing blackface during the Zulu parade.
As the community not only just speaking out on the concerns that they have, but also them also hearing the dialogue and the history, because a lot of people don't know the history, and the people who do know the history, this conversation just needs to be had. So I think it's effective to have those conversations, but I also think it was ineffective as well for the gentleman that was on stage saying that he's just speaking on behalf. It was kind of ineffective if we can't have dialogue with people that we're trying to create change with if they're not representing themselves on stage.
Corey Williams says that the overall goal is for both groups to reach common footing about what to do with the face paint itself. Leah Banks, PAC News. Zulu Club has been wearing blackface at the Zulu Parade since the early 1900s. Right now, they say they will continue this practice.
Next, we'll tell you what weather to prepare for this week.
Back to you, Lester.
Thanks, Taylor. And in our final story of the night, Maroon has been ranked as one of the top student newspapers in the nation by the Princeton Review. So as you heard earlier, the Bonnie Spillway is now open to prevent flooding. In southeast Louisiana, the flood stage is 17 feet and the river is expected to rise to near flood stage tomorrow. You can see the water rushing into the spillway here, quite a bit of water there. The spillway has been open for about 2 weeks now in order to keep the low-lying areas from flooding. Just a little history, the Bonnie Spillway was completed in the 1930s for a little over $14 million, and of course it has been helping to protect low-lying areas around the Mississippi River after heavy rains increased river stages. Right, and it's going to be a muggy day in the Crescent City today. As you can see, we have a partly cloudy skies with a high of about 75 degrees. Humidity is about 67% today, and there was some sun earlier this morning, but throughout the day we were going to expect to see a few clouds and a small drop in temperature for tonight. We're going to expect some cloudy skies with temperatures as low as 63 degrees. Also be sure to bring your umbrellas because there is a 20% chance of rain tonight. And that feeling in the air is going to persist tomorrow with a high of almost 80 degrees and a 20% chance of rain. But this weekend, we're expecting to see it cool down a little bit. Now, we're probably going to see some rain on Friday here. We got about a 70% chance, but that's going to drop to about 10% chance for Saturday. So you're not going to have to worry about anything raining on your parade on St. Patrick's Day. All right, thanks. Back to you guys.
Coming up after the break, we'll have the latest on LSU's basketball coach controversy. We'll also have Pelican scores and how one local golfer is tearing up the green. Stay with us.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know wherever you are.
The LSU men's basketball team keeps on rolling. The LSU men's basketball team defeated Vanderbilt 80-59 in the PMAC this past Saturday, despite being without head coach Will Wade and freshman guard Javonte Smart. Wade and Smart were both suspended by the university after an FBI wiretap between Wade and a middleman discussing money was leaked to the public. The win locks up the SEC regular title for the Tigers and is their first since 2009. The Tigers will play in the SEC men's basketball quarterfinals on Friday at 12 on ESPN. Switching over to the NBA, the New Orleans Pelicans face off against the league best Milwaukee Bucks in the Smoothie King Center tonight at 7 p.m. The Pelicans have lost their last 3 games, and with only 13 games left in the schedule, it will be key to see how head coach Alvin Gentry manages star player, Anthony Davis's minutes as the season comes to a close. The Pelicans currently have the 9th worst record in the league. The Loyola men's basketball team beat Middle Georgia State 78-74 in the SSAC men's basketball championship over the Mardi Gras holiday. The tournament title is first in school history for the team. The Wolfpack will await the NAIA Men's Basketball National Championship selection show on March 13th to find out their first round matchup. The Loyola women's basketball team won their 2nd consecutive SSAC women's basketball championship over the holidays, beating Bethel University 73-65. The conference title is their 4th in the past 5 years, and the team finished 22nd in the final NAIA poll. Could it be Money Hill's 18-hole championship golf course that made a golf pro out of a 20-year-old Slidell native? Reporter Caitlin Cleveland takes us to the course and introduces us to one of the pros.
Jacob Bergeron has been swinging the club, breaking windows, since the age of 3, and he has not stopped since, training mentally and physically about 8 hours a day.
I call him the king of one mores. You know, we got all these golf balls out here and always had to hit one more ball before he went home.
According to the PGA of America, the average age of a PGA member is only 42. PGA member Rob Noel coaches Bergeron as he strives for the PGA Tour. Bergeron went from amateur at age 7 to collegiate at age 19 and now professional at age 20.
I guess I haven't necessarily made it yet. There's still a lot of learning I have to do, a lot of growing as a player and as a person to reach the highest level. But I'm still young, so I have plenty of time to learn. And with the help of Rob Noel, and my mom and dad, it's just going to be a fun ride. And keep aiming for the heavens.
His parents, Wendell and Rhonda Bergeron, saw his progression and how he excelled from when he was 15 years old. They have been by his side since the start.
It's been the same from day one, is for him to be happy and have fun doing what he's doing.
Right.
I mean, if he gets to a point to where he's successful and he's, doing really well as a professional, that's just a bonus. But as long as he's having fun
doing it,
enjoying the journey, that's all we hope for.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Enjoying the journey.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bergeron has given 100% on and off the golf course.
But just to become the best player I could be, to reach the highest level, and to continue to push myself even when we've reached the top. That's where I'd like to go.
And with his love for golf and training, his coach said that he is on his way to the top. Caitlin Cleveland, PAC News.
Bergeron is the 2016 Polo Junior Golf Champion, 2017 South Beach International Amateur Champion, 2017 Thunderbird Invitational Champion, and professionally he finished 2nd in Adams Pro Tour event in Natchez, and recently won the qualifying school tournament for PGA Tour Latin America in Mexico. Bergeron will play in the PGA Tour Latin America in Panama in 2 weeks.
Well, that was a great package from Caitlin. It was cool to see that story.
And at such a young age to qualify for that many PGA tours.
Absolutely.
And actually win them. So.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Coming up next, we'll tell you how one child is thanking police officers for their service.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
Right now, it's a turbulent time to be in law enforcement, but a Wilson County boy's dream of becoming a cop is making it a little more rewarding. Kathleen Siri has his story.
It's a question a lot of young kids get. What do you want to be when you grow up? And 5-year-old Foster Routson has his answer locked down.
Police. I just want to be a police when I grow up because they're so awesome.
He even looks the part.
Because I just love police. I'm dressed up like one every single day.
But until he's old enough to join the force,
it's just on my heart.
He's showing his respect and admiration for law enforcement with lots and lots
I get another one?
of hugs.
I appreciate it, buddy.
He's calling the movement Hug a Cop. It all started when a few Mount Juliet officers spotted him in his tiny SWAT vest yesterday at the Providence Marketplace. And it continued today over at police headquarters.
Can I hop inside?
Heck yeah, you can hop inside.
Where the simple act of a friendly smile can go a long way.
Sometimes it seems like the negative opinions or the negative voices are so much louder than the positive ones. It's just nice to have an interaction like that with a young man who's so excited.
An excitement that Foster's parents hope can spark some change.
If there's anything good that comes out of all of this, and I do believe that there's good to be had, I hope that people will start teaching their kids to go up to cops and officers and anybody that serves. Give them a hug, give them a handshake, thank them for their service every single time.
A kindness that this 5-year-old
Thank you for service.
already has mastered.
Well, that kid is certainly adorable, and I didn't know they made SWAT vests that small.
And I think it's just amazing that at just 5 years old, he already knows his dream job.
Absolutely.
So that's all for PAC News today. Thank you guys for watching.